Solidarity, comrades. I know this is a bad location. It's late and I can't sleep, and I didn't want to. It's late in China right now, and I couldn't sleep, and I didn't want to wake up my girlfriend. She's asleep right now, so I wanted to make a video. I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, and it's another video regarding imperialism. Specifically dealing with the U.S. puppet of the Philippines intervening in China and the South China Sea, and how the United States is using the Philippines to further their imperialist agenda within Asia, in a place where they don't belong. So, if you don't know the story behind it, China has had claims to these islands in the South China Sea, mostly uninhabited by people. And they've had these claims to these islands since the 13th century, since the Yuan dynasty, the Mongol dynasty of Kublai Khan. And until the 20th century, when the Philippines had become a puppet of the United States imperialist will, did these islands ever become an issue on the international scale. Now, these islands are Chinese, and they have been Chinese for centuries, and it is a great example of the United States and Western imperialism trying to meddle with Asian politics, specifically Chinese politics. And there are historical records going back from Chinese and other historians, reputable historians, non-bourgeois historians, claiming these islands ever since the 13th century. And these islands aren't inhabited by natives. It's not some sort of settler colonial type of settling from the Chinese people. These are islands that were claimed by Chinese explorers in the South China Sea. And it wasn't until the 20th century that these islands ever became an issue on the international scale. And you can tell that the international community, specifically the Western international community, has been on the side of the Philippines, ignoring the historical claims that China has had to these islands in the South China Sea. And this is a perfect example of the United States imperialism trying to further their global hegemony over Chinese claims, over Chinese islands. It is there. It's a perfect example of imperialism and xenophobia. They are afraid of Chinese influence in the world, and China won't back down. China does not deal with that bullshit. Say what you want about China. They have their problems with revisionism and everything, but China has claims to these islands, and China is taking a strong anti-imperialist stance against Western global hegemony, and they will not back down. And the public opinion in China, me living in China, is that they will not accept these demands from the Western imperialists. And you see the United States working what Obama called the Asian pivot. You see it in Japan. You see it in the fascist South Korea. You see them attempting to create this this imperialist power to try to contain China, sort of this Cold War-esque, attempt to contain China. And it's complete bullshit. And I really think that communists should be more aware of this, if not already. And we should support the Chinese claims to the islands in the South China Sea, because they've had Han Chinese people have had claims to these since the 13th century, since the Yuan dynasty, since the Mongol dynasty of Kublai Khan. And these islands are Chinese. And then you have, as of the 20th century, which is 800 years later, finally they say, no, these are our islands, the Philippines saying, with the backing of the United States. And luckily, China will not back down from that. And it's complete bullshit. And I really support the Chinese strong stance against this Western global hegemony, and I think that all communists should as well. And this is just a great example of the United States meddling in affairs where they don't belong. This is one of many examples. And I really think that communists and anyone who has any historical knowledge of the South China Sea should know that these islands are Chinese, and that any claims from the Philippines are only backed by the United States trying to curb the hegemony of China, because China has been trying to challenge the global Western hegemony over this world. And I really like that about China. Say what you want about the revisionism, but leaders like Xi Jinping have been saying, no, this is bullshit. We will not accept the imperialist actions, the aggression from the West. And I think that most people would agree who have an understanding of imperialism, a Marxist understanding of imperialism, should know that it's complete bullshit. I mean, historically, these islands have belonged to China for almost 800 years, 900 years. I'm not sure on the exact dates, but Chinese historians, Asian historians, non-Western historians will all agree that these islands are Chinese. And I think that we should, as communists, challenge this imperialist aggression, not only in the South China Sea, but across the world. And it's complete bullshit. And you can see from the masses of China that they all are in support of this anti-Filipino aggression backed by the United States. The Philippines are a puppet, and we should challenge the imperialist aggression of the United States at all cost, of Western imperialism always. And I truly believe that once we combat and destroy the imperialism of the West, then we can further build international socialism, because, as Lenin said, imperialism is the highest form of capitalism, and the main dialectical contradiction to socialism is capitalism. And since the highest form of capitalism is imperialism, then we should challenge this imperialist aggression in the South China Sea and across the world from Western aggression, especially from Filipino puppets of that Western agenda. And I know this is a short video. It's almost 2 in the morning here, and I'm exhausted, and I know it's not a very good video with bad lighting. I'm outside. I didn't want to wake anyone up. It's late here in China. And but I hope this video helps you understand the situation a little bit better in the South China Sea and those islands that have been a part of China since the Yuan dynasty, which is centuries and centuries and centuries old. And it wasn't until the 20th century that that this even became an issue. And this is a perfect example of the United States trying to put their imperialist agenda in Asia, and it should be combated. And it's similar to the United States agenda in the fascist state of South Korea. It's the same as the United States agenda by supporting Japan, and it's the same imperialist agenda of the United States supporting the illegitimate and illegal government of Taiwan, because there is only one China, and Taiwan should be a part of China. And I think that all communists and all people with any sort of historical knowledge of the region should come in support of the Chinese point of view. I know this is not a very high quality video. I know the lighting is very bad. I'm outside right now and it's 2 in the morning. I know I'm not talking very loud, but I hope that this helped even a little bit. I know this isn't a very good video, but thank you for watching. Any comments below that you, if you have any ideas or comments or any suggestions on what I should do for the next video or on this video, I would like to hear them. And thank you for watching, and solidarity, comrades.